Good evening, my beautiful people. Welcome to another presentation of our broadcast here in the Issues Room. Tonight is our 239th edition, and we're coming your way from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's a pleasure having all of you here tonight. We pray that a lot of you will join us, especially those of you in Liberia, because the conversation tonight is a very good one and you'd like to be a part of it. We ask if you just join us to please share our link, share the show, invite others to tune in tonight because the conversation is one of national concern and the government needs to act immediately as we continue into the rainy season. It's a pleasure having all of you. Please, tonight we have with us a special guest. He's no stranger to the Issues Room because he's been here a few times to talk about some of the things that government is not doing through the Ministry of Public Works. And tonight we'll be discussing the issues of flooding in the country, especially since the rainy season started in April. You and I know that Liberia operates on two seasons, the rainy season and the dry season. And I believe our rainy season starts from April to October. And then we have October, November, December, January, February, March, and then we're back in the rainy season. So it's like not that when we say it's raining, then no sunshine, or when we say it's some sunny time or summertime in Liberia, there's no rain. But just when it's rainy season, it means it's rainy season. And so you've been seeing a lot of footages coming from Monrovia with flooding all over the place. Again, we say thank you. We'll be here for another hour and a half. And so we implore you to join us, share the link, invite others to be here with us tonight. We will be bringing in our guests shortly. But I just wanted to remind you that we're here Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Issues Room is the alternative social media platform emanating out of Liberia to discuss the things that matter to our country, to the continent of Africa, and that of the diaspora. Again, Moses Sandy, Alfonso Yenu may join us momentarily, but in the meantime, let's welcome our guest, Mr. Adolphus McCritty. Mr. McCritty is a Liberian engineer who is in Monrovia. He's been in the country for a while now. Of course, he has had time here in America where he's done some engineering work. And so he's very accurate with what is trending in the country. In fact, he's posted some videos with regards to the current situation with the flooding. Mr. McCritty, welcome to the Issues Room. You're no stranger. I reached out to you and asked you to come here. Let's talk about this because I've seen some of your video footages where you have been concerned. And so we brought you in to have this conversation tonight. Play some of the excerpts, play some of the photos, show some of the photos rather, so that people can see what's trending. Welcome, sir.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much for having me back on your show again. It's always a pleasure to come to appear and shed some light on the things that are happening here because, realistically, a lot of people are not educated to the fact of what's going on. They just see the after effect. But the root causes of these issue here, it's ignored. So until we bring these things to light and people know their social responsibility as far as the country is concerned, then the problem will persist because this country is not a one man's country. It's not a one group of people country. It's not a one party country. It's a country where it needs every productive hands on deck for it to move forward. That's the only way. And it is my obligation to make these things to be aware for the general public to be aware of these things because sometimes things go by you ignore it. You just say, oh, look at all that water, oh, look at this, oh, look at that. But they call to every cause there's an equal and opposite effect. So you have to understand the both. and then you know exactly what to do or how to address whatever problem you're facing. Again, thanks a lot for having me on the show. And like I said, whatever I can do to contribute, I will be more than happy.
Do you see our problem as the desperate need for development? Do you see that this is happening because, Liberia has not been a very developed country, even though when we were considered to be developed, we were doing things the right way. Zoning
Yes.
was in effect. I remember you couldn't just build any house, any place, anywhere. The alleys were respected. Surveying was done within the confines of what the Model D was, and the requirements were put in place that every 4 lots there must be, or every 1 acre there must be an alley, so that people can be able to get. But this is not happening.
It's not happening.
Do you think that that anxiety that the people now coming from all over the place trying to build, people here in the diaspora trying to build retirement homes, all of these things could be factors leading to why everything is all over the place?
Yes, 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 yes. The overgrowth and overpopulation are are the main culprit of most of the problem this city is facing. And sadly, it's being replicated throughout the country. You go right now to the Marshall area, you see sporadic people are just building sporadically without any kind of organization or organized planned neighborhood development. People, you just get your lot, you go take your deed based on what you the lands the minute the what do you call it thing housing authority, not housing, but land authority. What the land authority give you as a deed, you take your deed and you go and start building. Now, the problem I have with the land authority in the deeds that they are issuing, uh, one, from time immemorial, when they first started building, I mean, giving deeds, property deeds, you see, I have a deed that was made back in 1918 for a piece of property that my family owned. Imagine 1918, they were showing a 20-foot alley. And at that time, Liberia had maybe one or two cars in the whole country. You fast forward to 2024, you still see 20-foot alley on people deed. That's one of the problems. There's no consideration of population growth. Of okay, for the next 20 years or the next 30 years, let's have a development plan where we know the population is going to grow.
And
So let's
instead of 20-foot alley, maybe make it 40 foot, so that you have
40
enough
foot.
put put
Yes, yes, because you have to have
fuel
space for your sidewalk. You have to have space
for parking, for street
for
parking.
your underground to move around. Yes, and then secondly, with the house, the land authority and the surveyors that issue out deed, if you look on the diagram, a typical lot in Liberia is 82.5 feet by 132 feet. Okay, they give you that diagram there. This is your lot here, this is the alley, and this is the next man's lot, 82.5 by 132, or in case you get more than one lot, they show you your dimensions. Okay, but they stop right there. They don't show the setback lines. They don't show the government uh, uh, right away. So when people deed, they build their perimeter fence directly on the dimension that they gave them without leaving space, only leave space for the alley. And that is not correct.
And unfortunately,
The-
oftentimes they don't leave no space for the alley. They
They
sell
don't.
the alley into the one lot and give it to the guy. But let's come back to
Yeah.
the reality here. The land authority was established, I believe, under the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government to
Mhm.
mediate and make sure that all of the land fighting and people were going crazy about as the authority to handle land matters in the country. Then you have the Ministry of Public Works and the Ministry of Lands, Mines, and Energy. Of course, all of them should be working together now. The Ministry of Lands, Mines, and Energy is no more, is now the Ministry of Mines and Energy. So, Land Authority now is where all of the surveyors are working under. Am I right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So then it means that everything, every mess now that is being made since the inception of the Land Authority, uh, they should be held liable with regards to the surveyors who going in and surveying and not considering the things you're talking about. Because if a community is developed, the alley alone will not be the feeder roads to that community. There is a need for better roads, like you talked about, sidewalks, street parking, and all of that. And that is not happening. Some of the roads, the alleys they're creating, you see the person builds the fence, like you said, on the boundary of the alley, and there's no way to put sidewalk, so it's just one car goes squeeze between there, getting the fence, coming out, squeeze out. Another car has to wait for that car to pass before. So what are we doing? What are we doing? We're hurting this country, and
Yeah,
especially
they,
this is happening in this modern time, right now. In this modern time, when we should be developing for the future, you just had a census that says we have 5.2 million people. 5.2 million people for Monrovia in the country, and we're still acting backwards. Mr. McCritty, talk about it.
the problem here is number one,
Corruption.
enforcement.
Oh,
No,
corruption.
not
No,
corruption comes down the line,
no.
but
What I'm saying, when I say corruption here,
enforcement, yeah,
what
enforcement and corruption is right behind enforcement.
I'm thinking corruption to start with, because the surveyor is already they're doing the damage. They're getting the extra
Yeah,
money in the pockets,
the,
But
the
go ahead.
surveyor are actually doing the damage because most of the deeds you see they are very vague. It just show the dimension of a lot, but it barely shows
The adjoining
the the
properties.
the the, the landmarks, or what we call in surveying they call it TBM, which means the true benchmark, which means you can take a set of deed, and when you find the benchmark, then you can navigate yourself from that benchmark to exactly where that person's property is or is not. But the deed they give is just vague. A lot of time people have problem in locating their own property. So most of the time, what brings friction between people is somebody may go there and plant his cornerstone where it's not supposed to be. The next person said, "No, this is part of my land because this is what so and so." That's where some of the problem starts from. And then there's a lack of enforcement with the street layout.
Hmm.
And I can empathize with the lack of enforcement because the inspectors they sent out to verify these various structural what you call, they are overwhelmed. Can you imagine when you see a colony of ants, driver ants, for example? I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure you've seen driver ants before.
Hmm.
You see how many they are in that bunch. Imagine if you put your foot there, they will run over your foot. Same thing with the population here. The people are too many and nobody follows the rule. Everybody does what they want to do. And without ramification. Public work come in there. Public work too. I must say they try. They try, but they're overwhelmed, and they do not have the sufficient personnel to go out and enforce these things. So how do you solve that? You break it up from public works. Every every city or every vicinity, every community, for example, Painesville. If you want to build in Painesville is supposed to be set up to where they have their own inspectors, from fire inspector, building code inspector, electrical inspectors, plumbing inspector, structural inspector. They're supposed to have their own setup there. But when everything is channeled to Ministry of Public Works, it is impossible for them to monitor every construction site that goes on in this country. In Monterrey alone is overwhelming. Then what about the president, the next county?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, when he decides to build a house along, for example, on Bummy Highway, he just built without regulation because he's not coming to Ministry of way in town to Ministry of Public to get permit. The Ministry of Public Works does not beyond or to send somebody to Bummy County to inspect building project there. It's not like that. So what you do, you set up a mini Department of Public Works in each and every county. And then that way people don't have to come to Monrovia to do this. I mean, for example, if you had it's like this. If you were issued a license in Montserrat County, a driver license, when you get to Nimba, people in Nimba say, no, you got to get Nimba driver license. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
but we can't do that because we're one country, we're not a state, a federal nation with many states. So for the
yes,
license,
but
I'm
what they
just
do have now, and I've heard that they got some of them are functioning. They got a county service center where most of these things can be obtained right there at the county service center. But here's the thing: most people don't know about it. Most people don't know that if you want that your driver license or your this, your that, your passport or this, you just go right to the service, the county service center. Then you don't have to travel from Hopper all the way to Monrovia to get a passport or to
okay.
get a driver license.
All right, let's come back to the conversation here. We want to focus on the flooding issue now within Monrovia. We
Yes.
talked about,
Okay.
the land authority being a major player, surveyors being major players, public works being a major player, Ministry of Mines and Energy being a major player, and just the ordinances of city corporations and the locale being a major player, the citizens themselves being major players. Now, with where we've come from and where we're going, we had these things with sanity, done with sanity. We just talked about it. Right now, it's all chaotic. I sit here in Monrovia, call somebody, say, my man, I'm looking for land. But he say, oh, my man, I know somewhere that's selling 1 acre. They call the price. All right. They go talking on surveyor, come from nowhere, they survey the acre. Whether that land was sold before, whether that land a good land, whether that land supposed to be for building a residential home or a business, we don't care. All we want to do buy land. And so the land is sold. I go to work and I, start building a house. Maybe the land needed to be reshaped, what we call do landscape, but I'm not doing landscape contemplating that it could lead to long-term, embarrassment with flooding. I'm not looking at waterway. I'm not looking at all of those things. Somebody who doesn't even understand engineering come and build a house with a low foundation, and then when the rains come, here am I, the house is almost underwater. How do,
Exactly.
how do we address this kind of situation? Because it's not going away, Mr. McCritty. From your
No.
engineering perspective, I'm coming. From your engineering perspective, lay it out for the audience here tonight. If someone is in the diaspora, if someone is on the ground who wants to get a piece of property to start a construction project, what is the right thing to do? They don't have any land,
Okay.
they don't have any property, but they want to do something. And this is more for our people here in the diaspora. What is the right thing to do to have a piece of property, whether you're in the diaspora, whether you're in Liberia, but a first-time home owner, land owner?
Uh-huh.
What is the right
Uh-huh.
thing to do?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that question because I got a lot of clients in the diaspora who are trying to build here in Liberia, and they say, "Oh, John Brown, I've got a piece of land or what." The first thing you must do is to get yourself in touch with with an architect or an engineer, a very experienced architect. Because in Liberia now, everybody calls themselves architect engineer. But you need to get a very reputable and experienced architect or engineer to and facilitate him to go and visit the site and get back to you and say buy this land or don't buy this land. I'm doing that for a lot of people living in America right now. And because not every piece of land is buildable. In Liberia, everybody wants to sell land. That's the only thing to focus on. Whether the land is buildable, is not buildable, is swampy or that, they don't care about it. All they care about is the money you're paying them for the land. So if you're deciding to build in Liberia, it is a must. Before you spend one penny, you got to have somebody to go out there, wherever it is, to look at the land, and that person will tell you whether this land is worth investing into or it's not. If you don't do that, say my brother is in Liberia, they went and bought some land for me in Marshall. We finished paying for it, won't build a house. You sit down and design the house. When you get there, it's swampland or
Or
land
just, or
running
just
through
send it like,
very, yeah, or sandy land. And you see the for the land on both sides of the Robert Street Highway, for example, on both sides, starting from Boys Town all the way till you get into Smell No Taste on both sides. Many years ago, that whole area was under the ocean.
mm,
Evolution, and the reason why most people don't realize is that they see the quality, the color of the sand in those areas, the area I just mentioned about. The color of the sand there is white. Now, white sand comes from the bottom of the ocean. So that means millions and millions of years ago, all that area there was under the ocean, and then evolution, this, da, 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 the ocean receded and land was created. Now that land that was created is very sandy. It's very difficult to build roads or to put a building in it. You have to spend a lot of money in the foundation alone before you start building your house. And nowadays in Liberia, people build a house before they worry about the road that leads to the house. You see a lot of nice homes in the Marshall area and in the Route Highway. But if you look at the road that leads from the main road to where the property is, it's horrible. In other countries, if you have a subdivision or if you have a area that is designated for real estate development, before one house is built there, the road is in there. The underground utility are marked off. Okay? So now when you get there, you don't have problem accessing your house. So if you build your house alone, John Brown can build his, Peter built his, Abraham built his, nobody's concentrating on the road. They're expecting the government to come and build the road. And government needs to pass a mandate that no development must go on in any community until there is an established road by the government. That way people don't build too close to the road, people don't build in the right of way, stuff like that. But again,
so,
it goes back down to to enforcement.
so let's add this piece to it. You stressed something here that I think is important for us to consider. Government must first lay the foundation for that residential real estate property by putting in the
Yes.
different networks, meaning the road, the utility, and all of that. But customarily, and since the war, I believe that tax is one of the things that the government is still struggling with for people to build, just because the way they've built, everything is so congested, everything is so tumbled up that it would be difficult to really do the kind of zoning needed. for people to really pay taxes. Some of the things that they're building among good homes are not even something you would even want to tax because it's not even a structure, a dwelling structure. But because you
Yeah.
see population growth, everybody wants to be in Monrovia. As a result, that's what's happening. So how can the government take the initiative to do these things up front when in its budget, what is allotted for public works it may not be enough to do that, and taxing is not one of the things that happening except for businesses and few property owners who are paying taxes now. When a majority of the people in the country are not paying taxes, how then can we really move from this situation of craziness and go to a situation of sanity? What are some of the steps from an engineering perspective that can be put in place? And I'm thinking again, like as I said, taxing is the reason why these communities have the amenities they develop the way they develop because the government collects taxes.
Yes. You see, people pay taxes to the government, and the government responsibility is to take care of their civic needs. But just like you rightly said, very few people pay taxes in Liberia. People don't pay income tax, they don't pay real estate tax, they don't pay sales tax, except those big companies. So if you build your mansion on a piece of property where in any given location, Mr. John Brown of Flomo can build a mud shack right next to your place. You can't stop him because he owns that piece of land. The only way that can be stopped is there is an established code. If you want to build in this area, this is the type of house you must build in this area. Let me
Because
give you one typical.
the taxing will be critical. Because I
Well,
can't
exactly.
build a modern building and paying $2,000 for my tax per year, and you come and build a zinc shack and try to pay $50 per year. That's not happening.
That no, nobody will want to do that. So the taxes, first of all, uh, uh, the regulation of the kind of building you can build in any area is supposed to be established. It comes back to zoning. Liberia is very unfortunate to not to have a set of zoning laws and zoning ordinances that is enforceable. The reason why I say that is because you will see a school here, then maybe you see a church, then you see a mom and pop store, then you see a liquor store, then you see a shoe repair shop, then you see people cutting hair on the sidewalk with broken mirror and those kind of things. All
Mechanic
those
should
things are not. Yeah, people cooking kobo right now in Sincor, where I live. Majority of the sidewalk in Sincor is non-passable by pedestrian. Why? People are building the makeshift kobo shop right on the sidewalk.
on the sidewalk.
So you have nowhere to go. And because the people know that nobody will come and take them from there. They come move them today, tomorrow they coming right back. Tomorrow they you move them, the day after tomorrow they coming right back. So I mean I can empathize with government. They get tired. You can be breaking somebody's house and the person is determined not to do the right thing. So until there are strict penalties, besides seizing the person good, I see them go on the sidewalk, seize the person good, put it in the back of the pickup truck, carry it down to wherever they carry it. The next day, person will go buy more goods and put it right back to the same place. So there's no enforcement. Government needs to spend more money at that Ministry of Public Works to empower more inspectors, to train more inspectors to go out in the field and to know what they are looking for. Okay, right now, by the way, everybody talking about roads, feeder roads, and building roads to connect one district to another district. No car will be stuck in mud, those kind of things. But the pitiful part, Shelton, is that they are building the same deplorable road that was built and failed. They come back and do the same thing. You can put a motor grader. You cannot build a road with only motor grader. You have to have the right equipment to build a road. And some of these terrain, they are not conducive for roads. They're not conducive for roads. You have to fly over it. That's why you see a lot of overpasses in America there. If you ever driven from Alabama into Mississippi, there's a high area before you get into to Mississippi.
Yeah,
I mean,
before you
before you
get,
get
yeah,
to Montgomery, before you get into Montgomery, there's a wetland there, and that long bridge,
I've been
no
there.
footing,
I, I'm,
no footing is inside the wetland. All the footing is inside the river.
yeah, I've been there. I've been there. I went through Biloxi to what you call New Orleans, and
Yeah,
that
strictly.
bridge is
That's
extremely
the
long.
people respect the wetland. If you want to build a bridge, yes, build a bridge, but don't put your footing inside the wetland. The wetland is there for a reason. And people don't understand why the wetland is there for a reason. Okay? The incident that the hell of a downpour rain that we had the day before yesterday, the video, I was just compelled to
We'll
post the
come to it.
video.
We'll come to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So let me see if Moses Sandy. I noticed he's back there. I'm not sure if he's poised to come in here. Um, but we have some clippings that we'll go to. Uh, Moses, is your connection good now? I'm not hearing you. No, I can't. I can't. Um, in the meantime, let me go to this clip quick. You know, one of the clips that you pick up the other day when the rain started. Uh, Heavy downpour. Let's see what's going on here.
Okay, now here we're seeing another problem that was created by overbuilding. See all these houses built in this swampland. This place is a tributary. Now this just 1 hour of rain caused this much damage. Now you see this building here in the background. When they built that building there, they didn't know this would be the end result during the rainy season. But they allowed them to build it anyway. This huge Liberia hell of a building. Now see what the general public have to endure. This is just madness. Madness. Everybody trying to avoid it. I don't know if my truck will be able to pass through here or not, but we're gonna try. We're gonna try to navigate. This guy is backing away because his car is low, and if he passes there, he's gonna get in his car, so he backed away. So we're gonna try, see what we can do with this road here. All right, here we go. There we go. Everybody's got to make a way some kind of way. Oh, we made it. We made it by the hair of a chin chin chin. Proper.
All right. So that was just one of the clips. We'll go to a few more clips. But let's talk about what you were talking about when you mentioned the bottleneck. What area is that?
Okay. That area is the along the SD Cooper Road.
Okay.
just
So
before you get to the main intersection there. Now
okay.
that place it was that place used to be uh, a tributary for directing water coming from up the hill there, coming
Yeah,
down to that
that
little
area is
valley
called
there, and
Crown Hill. Crown Hill.
yeah, yeah, coming from that
Kingsville
area
Crown.
going down,
Kingsville
yeah,
Crown Hill.
and any up to where those guys are washing the cars. Okay, that was the north path of that little tributary there.
Yeah, and
It started
there's
to
a
get
there's a
worse.
wetland. I'm coming. There's a wetland across the road, swampy area
Yes,
into Pinsville, looking town called Swangamore.
yes.
So that whole area
The
where they have
province,
gas stations they built along the way. That's the area,
yeah,
right? Okay.
that's the identical area there. That problem started a couple years ago when we had through global warming. There was a story building back there somewhere, but because of this, the increase in the amount of rain that falls at one time, it undermined the foundation. I think it was a 3 or 4 story building. It collapsed. When it collapsed, all the debris fell down and they cleaned it up some kind of way, but the waterway was not cleaned properly. Fast forward a couple years later on, people who got there's some kind of store there where they sell goods coming from the states, bicycles, pots and pans, and those kind of things. What they did, and uh, uh, it was like December, maybe December, January, like that, they started doing some work over there. And what they did, their tributary was already small. So they went and increased the size by maybe 30 feet and built a retaining wall there to get more land to build. So what happened is that the pathway for the volume of water to flow naturally was
Coming
drastically
from up the hill
reduced.
because the water comes
Yeah,
from up the hill
all the
before.
water coming down from that hill. There's a lot of water that will come down the hill. But these people, I don't know if they got permitted to build that wall inside the waterway, but they built it anyway. So now, for example, if the waterway was originally 30 feet, they took out 20 feet. So you only have 10 feet left for the water to flow. And with that much water flowing through that little small space, it would definitely what we call pond up, which means it would build up because it's very slow in going out naturally. The speed of the water has been reduced. So it would pond up. So that way in that video, if you look to your right, you will see an unfinished house. Everything is in water. Okay. The whole flow is inside water because of the ponding up or the volume of water.
And
Then you fast.
the danger too. That waterway now could bust that Kota Road open.
That's exactly what's going to happen in about a
Yes,
couple of years because
yes.
all that water is going
That
to
whole
is
boulevard
going to
open.
be it will going to undermine that piece. It
Yeah,
already has some
yeah,
problems there already. The road is breaking up already as it is because the water is seeping up on the road, and Kota is not rigid. It's what we call flexible pavement. Okay, that means it can break up anytime.
because they didn't put
Okay,
concrete in there or steel rod. It's
yeah,
just
and
yeah.
and and then what makes it worse is that when you get back on the mean, when you get to the intersection there of SD Cooper Road and the Boulevard, and you make that left turn and you go down, you will see a huge building being built there. And when they started, that place was swampland before. Now it was not swampland, but wetland. It was a wetland. The wetland served as a temporary holding pen for huge water till it finds a way to go where it's supposed to go. But these guys come in and put fill dirt and build foundation and literally blocking the space that the water is supposed to pond up in. So they displace the water. So when the water displaced and it rains heavily, it comes on the road and water will seek its level. It will go to the lowest point. That's why you had a big river going across the road. The long-term effect of that is because that amount of water is going up underneath the quota. As cars are going up and down the road, the quota will sink. Before you know, that whole place will be filled up with potholes. That's the reason why they cannot maintain any roadway from the time you leave Johnson Street Bridge all the way till you get to Freeport, even up to how you call this? What's the name? St. Paul Bridge. That whole stretch,
That's
water
right.
is has saturated underneath the pavement. After one, you can put 10 feet of pavement there, thick.
Okay.
After a
Let-
while, it
Let's,
will just disintegrate.
let's go to another clip before Moses comes in. And this clip is just what you're talking about. This is from the Freeport area, Claratown area. So let's go to that clip and see quickly. It's just very short.
See what's up. What? See what's up. Ah, Liberia. Liberia. Go.
So is that area we're talking about, and the danger of that area. You know that that whole area is surrounded by water from the Stockton Creek, the Messerado River, the Atlantic Ocean, all around there. The other side of the water from Dew River, the Jamaica Road side. So that whole area is surrounded by water. But Moses comes in, coming rather.
Yeah. Hi, Mr. McCritty. It's a pleasure meeting you again.
Moses, you
Yes, good
gotta
to
speak
see
up.
you.
You gotta speak up.
Yeah, Mr. McCready, you are doing a great job. As I watch the videos and you being an expert, I just want to ask you this hypocritical and question. From your own assessment of happenings in Liberia, is Liberia retrogressing or making progress as a country? Are we ready, moving forward, or we going back to the 1800?
Well, if you ask my own honest opinion about it, I think Liberia is at a standstill. They've
Okay.
gone so far back that it's very difficult to go forward, and they are tired of going back, so they are just stagmatic. They're just standing at one point, waiting for some kind of magic wand to give them energy to go either forward or continue going back, but it's at a standstill. And what saddens me at my age, nobody cares. Nobody cares. People just deal with it. Like all that rain that occurred the other day, and you see all those flooding that happened at the Freeport. Some heads should have rolled because there were people responsible for putting those infrastructure in place. And why is it failing? They need to be brought to books. They need to be brought to answer questions. Why are those things failing? Because somebody was paid to put something there to prevent this kind of thing from happening. But it didn't happen. So somebody needs to be brought to books. And you see
Yeah,
the problem at the Freeport, that Freeport area. I remember I was in like 12th grade when they started, 11th, 12th grade when they started research widening that particular stretch of highway. Okay.
yeah,
That German company did a very good job. They put in the proper drainage system. They had manhole, they had drop inlets, they had curb inlets, all the way from the time you leave Tucker Bridge all the way till you get back to St. Paul Bridge. All those things were into place. Now, just like Shelton just said, You have the Atlantic Ocean back there in the back of LPRC or port, the Freeport. Then you have Stockton Creek in the back on the flip side. What has happened? Look at that piece of area that starts from the road all the way till you get to Stockton Creek, or from the road till you get back to the Messerado tributary.
Yeah.
What has happened there? People have brought fill dirt to create buildable land. In that process, they blocked the drainage outlet. So the water cannot go empty into Stockton Creek like it was supposed to do. It builds up right in between the two areas, and that's exactly where the road is. That's why it floods there continuously every time there's a heavy downpour of rain for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours or the whole day. That whole area will continuously be flooded. And it's too late now to go there and unclog those drainage. It's too late because the people have built 4, 5, 6 story building back there. If you go there now, you will see it. When I was a boy, the distance between Bali Island and Bourgeois Island was like maybe 100 feet. You look at it today, even more than 30 feet. Why? People are continually dumping. Pretty soon, Bali Island and Vietnam will be one piece of land if they don't stop these people. My suggestion to the government is to go back and get the map of those areas from the 70s and break down every piece of building that's outside of the original area where God intended it to be. Just break it down and get a dredger and dredge everything out of that river there and bring the river, restore the river to its natural state. That's the only solution. The other thing you can do, which is very expensive, you build a flyover from from Vata all the way to Timber Bridge. A flyover bridge.
Yeah, but that's still costly.
No,
That
Moses,
would be
Moses, I don't think it's costly. If the government means well, it can do it. When people are pocketing all of the monies and putting it in their pocket to do their own personal stuff, Liberia can move forward if we have the right leaders, leaders and leadership in power. But quickly before you come back, Thomas Awaji is asking this question, and I thought to throw it at you. He says, Mr. McCritty, how come we don't see some of these kinds of flooding on the outskirts of Monrovia? He's never seen that in Caldwell. Why could that be? Oh gosh, he's frozen. All right, let's hope he comes back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So until he
Go
I
ahead.
was saying that until he comes back, Volcano, our greatest problem is the failure to adhere to the rule of law. You have institutions of government that are responsible. You have the Ministry of Public Works. You have other key ministries. You have institutions, the disaster management agency and all of that. To ensure that these problems are taken control. But unfortunately, Volcano, whenever the political leaders try to enforce the laws of the country, the first thing people say, oh, well, these people, the people need to live.
But
You can't do this to the people. And
the people ain't ready.
everything is politics, my man.
Yeah,
Everything.
yeah.
When you're talking about, he was saying you go and tear down homes. When you go, you start doing that. The very lawmakers,
Mm-hmm.
the people in the legislature,
Yes.
they would be the one to say, oh, let's summon the Minister of Public Works. Then where are we headed?
But man, Moses.
Yeah, and,
Thanks for
and the
that.
Minister of Public Work,
Thanks for
the
that.
Minister
So
of Public Work may
the
not have
issue,
the answer.
the issue here is, like you said, we have gotten to the place where the country is in the wrong hands. Let me just be emphatic about it.
Bingo.
Liberia is in the wrong hands. Period.
Amen to that.
That's the reason why our country fell to the wrong hands since 1980. And anyone can disagree with me today. Anyone can say whatever they want to say. Is my opinion. It is not the issues room opinion. It is my personal opinion. Having been born in Liberia, know what Liberia used to be and what it is now. Our country fell in the wrong hands since 1980. And that is why we're where we are. And it doesn't seem that it's going to change. President Bouaga not going to make any major change in our country with regards to some of the things we're talking about. Just the other day, the motorbike situation, you see what you see people who don't even give a crap about their own safety and well-being. They're arguing. Why should the people pay tax? Why should they register the motorbikes? Why should they pay insurance? How dare you?
Yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder what kind of country these people want to have.
The problem is the country has fallen in the wrong hands since 1980. And I don't know if it will be the right hands. I don't know if that will be the right hands. That's the reason why. So rule of law, enforcement, any other thing is not happening, oh man. It's not happening.
And you get minister this, minister that, minister the other, any kind of minister. Once they get in there, forget the country. They're only thinking about looking good, driving an expensive SUV. You go to each one of their offices now, it's like you in Park Avenue office. But come outside of the ministry and look at the ministry they are working in.
Exterior, yeah.
Not even painted.
But the very Capitol building that is said
right now, Capitol building, you know what's happening at Capitol building? Every senator or representative, they are modeling their individual office to suit their taste, forgetting about the rest of the building. So that's why nobody could not blame Akara's Gray when he lost the election to retrieve the stuff that he personally put in there. That is not supposed to be allowed because that's a public office. You are just there temporary. You come in there, what you see there, you use it. Okay? When you leave it as you met it. But if you come in there, you met tile on the floor. You took the tile out, you put plush carpet. You met a refrigerator there. You met one broken down air conditioner. You went, took your money and bought 2 air conditioners and installed it in that particular office. You bought new furniture. When you're leaving or when you lost your election, when you're leaving, you will take those items with you because they're not government issued. So that practice needs to be stopped. If you elected a representative or a senator, the office they give you, how you meet it, that's how you should leave it when you are leaving. So they're forgetting about Capitol building right now, the condition that building in, that building before. You will cry. You will cry. Running water is hard to find. But running water in each senator or representative bathroom.
But let's
the general bathroom, they're using bucket.
Let's come back to the reality. And the reality here is, as I said, the country is in the wrong hands. And the people who should really look forward are the same people who come back and say, for instance, the people making the dirt, throwing it everywhere. You know what people say? But where I want the people to throw the dirt, you ain't identify nowhere. But common sense can tell you take your dirt and throw it in the middle of the street at night. So everything they got to tell you, you go and build in wetland. Right now, here's another place. And Mr. McCritty, I want you to go to the new little corridor they created between Police Academy on the boulevard and Police Academy Junction, that new road. Do you know as soon as you turn to where they're washing the car, the mangrove, the swamp, are you frozen, Mr. McCritty? He looks frozen again. But that area, Moses, you're coming quick. That area now, you know what they're doing? From the SKD Boulevard to turn to go to Police Academy, the swampland, as soon as you cross the small bridge, That whole area now, they're taking red dye to fill up the swamp to build. So what's gonna happen is when the rain falls and the water rises to a place where it cannot go in its natural flow, it's gonna back up, and that entire place now will be cut off, and there will be no more thoroughfare to get between SKD Boulevard and Police Academy. What type of country is this?
But look, uh, Volcano, Mr. Comment sum up the situation in Liberia. He said the country is on autopilot. The country is being governed by itself. Nobody is in charge of anything. You know, the police try to enforce the laws of the country. Our politicians politicize it. Any professional who tries to do the right thing, the people will rise up against you. Oh, how are we going to live? These people don't like us. How do you build $100,000 home? Oh, they ask you to pay tax for the very house. Then you go to your lawmakers to make a case. Oh, the people asking me to pay tax. How do you expect your neighborhood to be developed? You don't want to pay no tax. Everything should just be free. You tell me, Volcano?
I mean, and Moses, the thing is so painful that you see your neighbors going forward. You see your neighbors making progress. But there's one piece of Liberia just ugly, dingy, and stupid looking.
Mhm.
Stupid looking. What type of country is this?
I won't use that word.
No, ain't no stupid looking. Yeah, everything just backwards. All the places the government tried to do small development, they jump there, they just pile up the place. Go look at Marshall Junction. I still can't believe Marshall Junction, Marshall intersection with Boys Town. 2009, that place was the new layout. The new layout, 2009. You could barely find anything. Today, all the Lebanese, the Indians, they now go and fool the poor Bassa people along the road, that little front view. Boom, they build a whole lot of stores, and all they're doing, they just build those structure, get the people in, some kind of 30 years lease, get in $10,000 a year. They see that money, that big money. That man take over that place 30 years, he make 10, 15, $20 million and walk away. And not no development, just leave the place in ruin and in filth. That is what happening. It's a painful thing, man. It's a painful thing. But let's go to another clip before I bring Mr. McCritty back. I think he's trying to get back in. Here's another clip here again.
Are you there?
I'm here. I'm trying to get this clip shared. Okay.
Oro is blocked, as you see. Wow. The rain is raging here all over Monrovia and Liberia, to be exact. And we're in July, so I just can't imagine from down to August, September, what will happen.
I think he meant to say June or so. But look at this water. Look at the water there.
I mean, it makes you to wonder.
Mr. McCritty, you're back, just so you know.
Yes. It's raining here. It's raining here, so the internet is going in and out.
Okay, so that hopefully you don't get in the flood too.
No, I'm living on the third floor, so
Okay.
I won't have to deal with that.
Yeah,
Hello.
Moses, go ahead.
No, what I wanted to say, Volcano, is that look how our country looks.
But look, listen,
You-
Ahmad Freeman, he said Liberia needs to start hiring lifeguards. Because I mean, that's a beautiful one.
Yeah.
No.
Or
But you
maybe
see,
have-
situation like this, people will sit down and look at it and endure it and nobody says nothing the day
Not
after. Sooner the water subsides, you will not hear one more word
okay.
about it until it comes back.
Yeah, that's true. Nobody cares. They do whatever they do, and walk away with impunity. You
Yeah,
see,
and you see what is happening,
and
Sheldon. This is the beginning of things the worst to come, because you see all this water you're looking at, so it's going to go somewhere, and what we call saturation is going to take place. That means all this water now is sitting there. Some The next downpour rain will be worse than this. People might losing their life because you're sleeping in the middle of the night. All of a sudden, water can carry
yeah,
you.
yeah. Can you imagine? You wake you up late at night, and your whole house is flooded.
Yeah,
What do you do?
and it happens to people year in, year out. Nobody says nothing about
Nobody,
it.
no,
Nobody is summoned to the Capitol building to explain why. But you do something politically incorrect. The next day you are at Capitol building, they summon you.
yeah. Instead of when you to answer a question,
Yes.
Or they hold you
you
in
have lot.
contempt.
Yeah, you have
44 years,
individual.
this country has been mismanaged. 44 years. I
So I
mean,
said
that's
the
almost
country is
four
Honestly,
and
it's
a
more
half
than that.
generation.
has been
More
in the
than a
wrong
Four
hands,
and
century.
a half generation gone.
More than a century.
and people don't want to
Yeah.
agree to that. The people who
The
enjoy
country
and
is
benefit it,
continuously being mismanaged. I mean, you have a country that's gradually sinking. The little money that comes in the country. Let's take, for example, what is happening at the Capitol building. Let's agree for the sake of argument. The senators say they use $50,000 for a retreat, but you don't have running water at the Capitol building. Isn't that insanity? You
It
use
was the
fifty
insanity.
thousand dollars. How do you justify that? Oh, and we bought speakers. We took our staff. $50,000.
And $50,000 could go a long way in doing
A
some
long
kind of
way.
renovation at that Capitol building.
Yes.
Some kind of a capital renovation there.
You use that money
Right
for
now
less than 4 days.
they only have, imagine right now they only have elevators work, one elevator in each of the two wings they added on the Capitol building. The two wings, the Chinese people, one elevator.
Yeah.
Okay. And in the old building, there are four elevators there. All of them not working.
Sad.
but they're
This is
justifying taking
absolutely
almost
Four
sad.
elevators there
300,000.
sitting there idle on the machine.
They're justifying taking almost $300,000 a year. I heard
Yeah.
Prince Moyi making justification. You know, I mean, but let's go back to this other clip quick. This is getting serious here in this country.
Look there.
Now they look like Broad Street.
Yeah, but I've never seen water this
Is
much
that is
on
that
Broad
Broad
Street.
Street?
This
Yeah.
is Royal Family TV.
That's Broad Street.
We are coming to you from the
Broad
corner
and
of
Johnson
This
and
is
Warren.
sad.
Crown
Broad
and
Johnson and Warren.
This
Johnson
is
Streets.
absolutely sad.
Um, in sight from the distance is coming from the Crown Hillside, coming towards
Wow.
Johnson Streets, Douala Johnson Street intersection. After nearly 6 to 7 hours of rainfall in Morovia today, this is what we experience here at the Crown Hill
Broad
area.
Street?
And
My name is Isofa. I'm bringing you this coverage flooding
coincidentally,
on Crown
the
Hill
Ministry of Public Works
towards
worked on that
Johnson
area there
Street.
before sometime last year or year
And
before.
this is how it appears like as drivers are forced to divert
Yes,
traffic
I know exactly where that
one
is
way or the
coming from.
other.
There you can see the Presbyterian Church right on the corner there.
Let's see
That's
what
the
it
Presbyterian.
moves on.
You see the
Yeah.
Presbyterian Church right there.
Yes.
That whole area was worked by Ministry of Public Works maybe last year or year before.
This is the
But
traffic.
what was the result? This is the result for all the money that was spent.
Mhm.
That means somebody didn't know what they were doing, you know, and nobody checked on them. This kind of thing, they never happened in this country before. That place by Presbyterian, I used to walk from Milton Ridges to Front Street every day, rainy season, dry season. That place never was flooded like that before. Why?
I mean, nobody
Why do we
cares.
have to? Why? Look, the Liberia that I experienced, that's the Liberia I want the coming generation to experience, so they can appreciate their home and don't play DV to go somewhere else. Why you think when we were in high school and those kind of, why you think the people, hopefully people they didn't open DV? They have student exchange program. If you were
Yeah.
smart enough and you apply and say you could go there. But now the people so lazy. They just want to win DV, go to America, work like a jack, fill out container with old stuff. They pick out of the guy in America. They got something they call garbage diving, a dumpster diving. You dive in the dumpster, you see any good, you put it in a container. Oh, the people in Liberia will be happy with it, and they accept it. You see all bicycle that kids overuse.
Now,
They got them,
now you
let
see
them around
Africa along
Camp
this
Johnson
road.
Road.
All over the
due
place.
to
Look at it.
overflow of water on the street. There are
Look at
several
this.
areas in Painesville that have
The
been
country never
affected
used to be like this.
by this
No,
water. you
So
see
this
from
this is
angle,
this is the spot. That's the business place right there called Oswali or something.
this
So
That's before you
What?
get to
no, this is
72nd.
Oswali. No, this is Oswali. Yes, right here in the fence. That's Oswali.
Right before you get to 72nd Boulevard Junction.
No. This is near SD Copa. It's in the midway where the car wash is. That's the place right here.
Yeah,
across-
exactly where the car wash is.
Yeah.
Right opposite.
you see
Right
from this
opposite.
angle. This is supposed to three. My name is Godfrey.
Yeah, the car wash.
That
across the
property.
road. This
Yeah,
place that
right there.
Ajiboli place here. So that's the swampland I was talking about. So this
Yeah,
road,
that pay
this
belongs to
this road now is
one of
impassable.
the Bernard wives.
We you live from Painesville along the EAW Junction, SKD Boulevard Road.
That place used to be very beautiful. I remember when Donald Cooper built a house where the Chinese people now desecrate, put all kind of old. That place was one of the most beautiful houses in that area there. And look at it.
And the SKD Boulevard.
My man, this is not SKD Boulevard. Y'all want to do commentary? Y'all don't know the place. This is
That's
Tottenham
not
Boulevard.
SKD Boulevard right there. That's
Tottenham
Tottenham
Boulevard.
Boulevard.
All right. So this is what we're talking about here. Do you think that this country is in the right hands with this kind of situation since the last 42, 43 years? Do you really think that this
No.
country is in the right hands?
No.
Has been in the right hands since then?
It has
And
not
is-
been in
and
the
is-
right hand since 1980.
And is it currently in the right hand now that we have a new government? We've been talking about George Weah mess. We've been
You
talking
know,
about
they got a saying
So-
in Liberia. They got a saying in Liberia here. If your Christmas will be good, you will know by the Eve. Okay? And so far, what we see, I doubt it.
you know,
I doubt it.
what we're talking about, yeah, it's an age-old problem. The Salif administration takes a greater share of the responsibility with reference to what we're talking about. The Taylor administration, the Weah administration, the Samuel Doe, and then it goes on, you know. I think what is happening to our country is that our political leaders are just too concerned about their personal well-being than the good of the country.
Yes.
That's all.
Yes.
Everything is about greed.
That's the bottom line.
Mr. McCritty, you are in this business. Every time somebody is awarded a contract, the higher ups in government, they tell you, oh man, before we sign this, you got to give us 10%. So if you give this man 10%, say you're into construction, and they ask you to build a road, and you give them 10%, the guys who come in to do the inspection, they are already compromised. They won't
Yeah,
hold
so
you
I mean,
to
you get You will
Yeah,
get
man.
substandard work. That's the reason why I do not do or go after any government contract. That is the identical reason why. Because if somebody who's just pushing a pen to sign a check requires you to give almost a third of your budget
Of the
to
budget.
him for doing nothing, if you fall short on the contract, then your name's spoiled. You know, man,
Yes.
Eddie money, he didn't do the work.
Mhm.
If
But
you
let's come
buy
back.
substandard, if you buy substandard material, which you would be forced to do because of the big cut in your budget, that product will not last long.
So
See,
let's come
this
back.
house,
Let's come back to this house and the area here. What type of structure you think can be put here? I want us to look at the engineering because again, we're looking at something like this. You can see in the back the water is a
Okay,
river
there's
back
a
here.
swampy, there's
So
a swampy.
so when you're building here in a space like this, Mr. McCritty, from an engineering mind, what type of structure can be put here? Because this house going to go underwater soon. If it rains 2, 3 more days, of course, it's over with. What type of structure? What type of foundation? How high and all of that?
first of all,
Or you
this
shouldn't
house
just
has
build that,
no
or you shouldn't
this,
just build here. That's
this house has no business being in that area there. No house needs to be in this area because like when I was in Atlanta, we go process building your building permit at City Hall.
It's frozen.
yeah, he's frozen
They
again.
got built within that 100-year flood zone. That means that area has been demarcated that it can flood anytime within 100 years. So they do not encourage anybody to build that at any time.
Hmm.
That one needs to be established here in some credible minister or some kind of ministry needs to be established to address this particular issue here. You must identify which area falls within the 100-year, 50, 100-year flood zone. And if that area is demarcated, I don't care who you are, you cannot build, you squatters. Even if you're a squatter, you cannot squat in that area. It's strictly reinforced. You go there today, tomorrow they're chunking all your belonging out. That's the kind of language people in this country nowadays understand. They didn't understand you can't put X on your building, move by. So they would, sooner you move, they will move the pin, they
Oh,
put a
why
picture
was
there.
it?
Yeah.
But
They,
let
they,
me hold you there quick. You remember the other day, some family came from the States. I was in Liberia, and the family, they've gone to court, gone to court, gone to court. The family was able to get eviction from the ministry, from the Temple of Justice, right at
yeah.
before you get to Catholic Junction on the right hand.
Yes,
You remember
I was there when
the,
that thing happened.
okay, the bulldozer, and you saw the people
Yeah.
running to go to George Weah, CDC headquarters to go baking to come
Yeah,
bake
yeah,
because
to
they ain't got
come and
nowhere to go. But according to it, the story, that litigation has gone on for years, and because they felt that most of them were seditions, they were buying time, and they never made any effort to move until the new government came and the Temple of Justice sent the sheriff and they went and broke all of the squatter homes down from on the people land. The neighbors, the people, they were talking. Some people came, oh, when you're staying in America, you buy a land, you don't want to do anything with it. So the people got the right to build on it and da 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 da. And I'm sitting
And
there
that's a
asking myself,
misconceived idea.
yeah,
You
I'm
can't go
asking
just arbitrarily take somebody's property because
because
that person has family. Okay?
Yeah,
And that area you're talking about also is an area that is should be determined as non-buildable.
yeah, swampy area. That area is
It's
sunk.
a very swampy area. Then
So,
there's another development that coming up, and I see right at Cali, Sophie Junction there. Some Lebanese man or some foreigner is building a huge
yeah,
development there. Almost the entire area is filled up with building. Where the
yeah,
people will park if it's a
yeah,
supermarket? Where are they going to park? And that particular area falls within the flood zone.
and the
It's,
swampland.
it, it's falls within the swampland. They brought filled it in. They should not have been allowed to build anything there. They should have been stopped. Of my colleague Kenneth Awaji, he tried. He brought it to the to to the public permit to build anyway. Now what's going to happen? Problem. Same thing with along the Rouse Street Highway, the one they're doing now. That stupid East people, they are diverting all the drainages to the community. As a result, when the water comes from off the road, it drains into the community. The community will hold the bulk of the burden to suffer in situations like this. The whole country, you say you got engineered this way. Now, one single detention pond in this whole country. Not one. If anybody say there's a detention pond in Liberia to hold off what you call it, the torrential rainwater, then let them can't take my head off. How can you build a long highway like Rouse Street Highway and you do not have a detention pond?
And especially the land is low. That land is low. That's a low land.
You see, when you pass ERWA going to Rouse Street Side, when you pass ERWA junction there, going towards before you get to where you branch off to the hospital, on your left hand side, there was a place there they used to call it the Borough Pit. When they were building Rouse Street Highway, that's where they took most of the material from.
Yeah, the red dye, yeah.
Okay, created a big hole down there. And what was the purpose of that hole? That hole served as a detention pond. That was every rainy season, that place used to be flooded. The Trent football field used to be flooded. Because water coming from up the hill there, water coming from this one, everything ponded up right in that area there and took it time to go where it's supposed to go. But what happened now? People now fill that whole area there, buildings out.
I know what you're talking about. They built a church right down.
Yeah, right down there. And somebody built a house there, put fence there, put there. What? How is it possible in a civilized
Look at this one.
country? They want to enforce. You go enforce, they will call minister this, vice president this. Oh, that my man there, can you small slack?
Yeah,
The country will not move like that. Look at the house here.
Look at this. It's so sad.
Before they got to this point, they were supposed to know that when it reach the water reach to the level. Build house there, don't waste money there.
Look at whole community.
I
The
mean,
whole community. And you see, there's a lot of flat land in
the
this
danger.
area.
You know the danger here too. You will have alligator coming in, big snakes.
Oh yeah.
Kind of thing. It's dangerous.
Last year, rainy season, they found a baby alligator in the Sophie Askin area. You know, the tributary there.
you know, if we can even take up, wild animals, but people can get electrocuted. What if you have electricity running, and then you have this kind of flaw, and one of the cables, gets disconnected? You can get electrocuted. You can wake up and die in your house as a result of the flood.
Yeah. Another entity that plays a very pivotal in all this disaster, EPA. EPA is just sitting there doing nothing, traveling this, they have no control over what's going on in the environment.
But Eddie took a banker and made him EPA boss. What his name? Wilson Tape?
That man's out of
I said it took a banker and made him the EPA boss, Wilson Tape.
Then what do we expect the EPA to do? What do you expect?
We got Malcolm saying order as punishment. We asked our saying order for punishment.
And the replacement. And look, the East people, from the area before you get to that bridge, they're going to, when you pass Boys Town, there's a hill there somewhere. I think they call it Tower Hill thing.
Yeah.
They have filled in that whole wetland there with dirt. They're talking of putting a road there. All the vegetation has turned black.
Yeah.
Dead.
Yeah. Just before you get to the bridge.
Yes.
The
whole vegetation up there. Even the place
they put a road so it can connect to that village all the way toward Marshall Highway. I guess he froze on again.
I guess
So,
exactly.
Mr. McCready, let me ask you this question. Isn't it the responsibility of the Ministry of Public Works to do enforcement of zoning laws?
Yes, it is. But again, the public work is not adequately funded to be able to do what public work needs to be done. They're not funded right, because if they were adequately funded, they will hire more engineers, more field engineers, more experience. They could be able to pay experienced engineers to go and do what they're supposed to do. But in the absence of that, they do not even have sufficient vehicles for the people to go do their inspection. They got one or two vehicles. When they found one vehicle, no fuel.
They almost like on the fire service, eh?
Yeah, you see. And I feel sorry for those guys, because I know a lot of guys, a lot of people, some of my comrades at Public Works, they want to do the right thing. They are trained to do the right thing, but they are constrained by the higher up. No, don't do that. So where is the country going?
Where's the country going?
You
Where's
see,
the
and at the end of the day, the whole blame falls on Public Works. Oh, the Public Works is problem with that. But there's the poor guys in now trying their best to do the right thing, but they are being, oh man, it's too frustrating.
Yeah, look at this. Look at these people in this video.
And
It's so
these are the people that will suffer. Somebody won't go in. They got a 4x4 air-conditioned chauffeur-driven SUV with police escort in front, police escort behind. That's their world right there. They care less about anything outside their world.
Mhm.
They don't have to sit in traffic like the average person does.
No, they don't.
Sit in traffic for hours and hours and hours before you can get. You leave.
They don't. Obviously, they don't. They just do whatever the pleases them. Look at this. I mean, Volcano, you watch these videos, you just get discouraged. Wow. Look at this. Where is this? Where is this, my man?
Oh man, I saw him in Liberia. Mr. McCritty, he knows this area. Let me bring him in.
You want to tell me that what? The wall fell?
That area there is like King Gray.
King Gray.
Now you pass the Golden Key Hotel. Now you see what is going on there.
Okay, now let's see.
Have the drainage coming from.
You have
up,
drainage
Coming from
Mr.
McCritty, hang on. You are explaining it already, so let's watch the
to
video.
meet up with the water flowing all the way down to enter the little culvert here. Okay, so then you have another set of thing coming here. They're all meeting at that point right there, which creates what we call a whirlpool. You see the whirlpool right there. That in turn slows the water down from entering this head wall here. And you see the water in any head wall not supposed to be this much. You got about like 8 inches above the head wall and where the water level is. We talked about this thing before, but they're not want to listen. See all the debris. That building is not even supposed to be constructed in the wetland, as far as you can see. Look at that. Coming all the way down to here. You got one tributary coming from this way, coming here. Who's supposed to go here? How they made that boo-boo, I don't even know. But see, nature is taking its toll now. See what is happening. This is just a conglomeration of Donald Trump said bullshit.
Look at it.
Yeah, and
Look at the young girl.
for them that play tall.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, pure fun. Play tall. Here's the other video.
Now see what's happening on the other side. Same thing.
I mean,
Same thing over here. See the whirlpool effect. Now there's people down the back there. They're the one going to feed the bulk of it. Now see what's happening on the other side.
Wow.
Same thing.
Well, we're almost 8:30 minutes. Let's wrap up. Mr. McCritty, we really covered some grounds here to discuss this issue. I think hopefully this will kind of create some kind of awareness, and people will realize that they think they're doing something in Liberia, meaning government thinks it's functioning. People think they're ministers and they're doing great in their ministries and in their communities. But this is an example of the contrast of what Liberia should be heading in the direction of growth, positivity, better development. Instead, this is what we're experiencing. That compromise of the integrity in engineering, that compromise of the integrity in zoning, that compromise of the integrity in anything that's supposed to matter is the reason why where we are. But just in your closing word, how do we move forward? He's frozen again. That Liberia now.
Yeah.
How do we move forward, Mr. McCritty? Yeah, sorry. How do we move forward?
You see,
in your closing.
in closing, I just want to say that when we bring these things to the public, the ones in charge, they feel as if to say somebody is backlashing them or trying to make them appear not to be doing their job, which in fact they're not doing their job. But we bringing this thing to enlighten them. Okay, if I'm doing something and somebody says XYZ, let me look into what that person is saying and extract the good from there so I can be better. That is what we intend to do. If you're not aware, okay, let me make you aware. I'm not coming there to take your job from you. I'm trying to make you aware of your particular job responsibility. Okay? Because the country is not for one person, the country is for everybody. My daughter may want to come from America to come visit Liberia. Let me go see where my dad is from. But if she comes to see all these things, she would be disappointed to go back.
Yeah, you're there.
Yeah, 100% right. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, okay. So, in other words, I just to close, I would just want to admonish each and everybody who is in charge of something that relates to the development of this country. Try to be more patriotic. Don't look at the swellness of your pocketbook or your wallet or your bank account first. The country must come first, because if the country comes first, everybody wins. Everybody wins. Even when we are no longer here, the history will remember us for not for our credentials, not for John Brown had 10 master degree. No, history remember for what you did for your country.
Sure.
Thank you. We have a caller on the line. Let's take the caller in quick before we wrap up here. Caller, you're live. Are you there?
Yeah, hi.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here, Volcano. Thank you very much for allowing me to call in. And I was listening to the show. Very interesting show. Good public awareness. And I just wanted to chime in to some of the things you guys already emphasized. No zoning, lack of leadership in terms of the public works. At this point, once there is proper leadership in our country, we just need to think about moving to a whole new capital.
Yes.
because the way people are built, no right of ways, it would cost less, not cost, but necessarily cost less, but would be more prudent to just find a new area where people can plan, and have proper zoning, and and build a city taking into consideration all these different factors.
I mean,
floods
something
and
similar to what Nigeria did with Abuja, something like
correct,
that.
correct. But I mean, like Monrovia is hopeless in the sense that even for the time it was built, the infrastructure, the pipes, and all that kind of stuff, it's just a lost cause to put more money into it. Because in fact, not just what Nigeria did, but I think I'm more of the idea where once we get a new leadership, because I'm seeing beyond this leadership, they're not going to do anything, is that all the different capitals around the country. So if you're going to invest, let's say $500 million in one capital, why don't you split it up? And yes, you're going to have one capital city, but put just as much resources in Fishtown as in Tottenham and everywhere else. You look at the United States, every capital was built. Every city, major city was built almost at the same time, rather than just focusing on one place where everybody would just move there and then it gets overcrowded after 20 years. So that's my take on the whole thing. Get the city planners together, and start looking at these different
And stop the corruption.
Huh?
Stop the corruption, because if you don't
Well,
stop the corruption, you can't get anything done. When people personalize the country's coffers, operating from they put stooges in the central bank, they put stooges in the Ministry of Finance, call them overnight and say, bring the grape here, bring some money. We're not going to go anywhere.
yeah, I mean, Volcano, I just left the closing argument. And anybody who thinks that this government has hope of change, they're just wasting their time.
I'm not talking about this
It's just
government. I'm
wasting.
just talking in general. With
Oh,
with,
yeah.
yeah, with what you're saying, the perspective of doing these things, I'm saying that stop corruption, stop corruption, stop corruption, and we can
Yes.
make a difference.
Yeah, lastly, yes, but that comes with leadership, because people think corruption is just about, for instance, taking money from the coffers or appointing your cronies. But corruption is also how you run your political party. When you have a political party where you have the same person over and over again, that's corruption. It creates no room for new people. It creates no opportunity. What makes me think if I join a political party like that and they get into leadership, they're gonna do the same thing. We see that with the CDC, they see that with the Unity Party, we see that with the ANC. We need leaders that can look beyond themselves and build an institution outside of yourself. And I know people criticize me a lot for making this point, but the leadership doesn't start when you get elected. The leadership starts before you get elected. Let's see how you run your party. Let's see what kind of transparency is there. What kind of accountability is there? So if we want good leaders, look at the current political party, look how they ran. And that will tell you exactly when they become president tomorrow, everybody's going to have this same, what they call the imperialist presidency, just the way you have political leaders. They can do anything. They can appoint anybody to any position. The convention is just a mockery because they already got a candidate before they even go to convention. So that's the 2 point I want to drive. We need to build a new Liberia with new mindset, new people, innovative, and break from the past. Starting with the political parties. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good show. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I encourage all my friends to share. It's an excellent show tonight.
Thank you. Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes.
So this is it. We got to wrap up. And again, Mr. McCritty, thank you so much for your insight. We'll see how the rainy season play out as it goes into July. Maybe we'll bring you back here when some of the structures start falling and the bridges collapsing and the roads start breaking. And then we will be the soothsayers who saw it on the horizon. But this is not even engineering. This is not common. This is not rather rocket science.
Yes.
It's common sense.
The basic common sense. That's what that what irritates me. Then you got to be, because from what I post, from what I say to people are learning a lot from my post. That things that they didn't know before. Okay. And that way it pays off at when people begin to take the positive from what I say. But there are some people that look at everything negatively. And we will not go anywhere, just like you said. This country is not about partisan. And the problem is they are employing people because they are from the same party, not because they qualify them. You're from the same party, you're from the same tribe. Oh, let's go over there. You will be this, you will be that, you will be the other. In their country will not work like that. The same thing been happening for the past 44 years.
Thank you.
End of story.
Yeah.
So let's just put everything together and try to do
Thank you.
come to one conclusion about this country, because we either want a country or we don't want a country.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah,
We'll take leave of you, sir. Thank you.
No, Volcano.
Moses, I gotta go.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So we just want to say thank you to everyone who showed up here tonight. We will be back here hopefully Tuesday. And again, we'll see you all. Great conversation. We look forward to another production. Good night.